Good day, everybody. Yeah, my name is Okeke, like you know. I'm from Anambra State, precisely in Rape. I live in Lagos and I'm a businesswoman. This issue of rape has been on the increase in the past couple of months, especially in Nigeria. People, when you wake up every day, all you are confronted with is news about one person being raped or the other, a 70 to 85-year-old grandmother being raped by a small boy of about 20-something years, no respect, no fear. Then children are being raped by adults. Fathers rape their biological children, biological daughters, impregnating them, and so on and so on and so on. And I think it's high time we curb this madness in Nigeria. Then talking about rape, I think I will, before I go on, because of time constraint, I'll just define rape in a very short, just define rape shortly. I think rape, by my own definition, all right, by definition, is a type of sexual assault. It's a form of sexual penetration, like penetration of a person and be carried out against a person by another person without the person's consent. Even when the consent is gotten, it is always either by physical or non-physical coercion. It's also a form of sexual assault carried out on someone who is incapacitated by reason of being unconscious, either by being drugged and she's not able to resist the attempt, or by being incapacitated as a result of physical or mental disability, or even as a result of one who is under the legal age of consent. And globally, it's so disheartening that globally that the victims of rape are overwhelmingly females. And that is very disheartening, very heartbreaking. And then I will, before I go on to, I want to give just very few types of rapes. Like we have date rape, whereby you have a date meeting with your date and spikes your drink or your food and you eat and you get unconscious and he rapes you. Then there's also gang rape. Even your date can arrange the gang rape. Arrange his friends to come along. They drug you, or even if they don't drug you, they can force you physically and rape you. Then we have war rape, whereby some soldiers will go to the enemy camp, pick up their women, abduct their women and their girls, take them back to their own camp as prisoners of war, turn them into slaves, into sex slaves. There's a particular one that may not be popular, and it is called the statutory rape. The statutory rape, some customs and tradition justify that rape. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that there are some communities, some villages, some customs and traditions that when a woman is widowed, when after the mourning of the husband, when they want to remove the stigma of widowhood, what they do is that there's a particular priest, traditional priest in that community who goes about distributing HIV/AIDS. By what do I mean by that? That particular traditional priest, what he does is that being part of the ritual of removing the stigma of widowhood is that after the woman's hair is scraped, the man will be made to sleep with that widow, that woman, in order to remove the stigma of widowship. And when the woman, because they believe that by so doing that the spirit of their brother will rest. And if you don't allow the priest to sleep with you, the men there will force you, and the priest will sleep with you. Because why they do that is for their own selfish motive. Because in some communities, when a woman loses her husband, what they do next is that a lot of the men, male relations, will start scrambling to have to convert the woman to themselves. And so they believe that if that is not done, that when they want to sleep with the woman, that the spirit of their brother will strike them down. So let me just leave this once now and go to how you can avoid rape. if you don't want to be raped, there are a lot of things you can do. First of all, don't go to a place, don't find yourself in a place where you can be lonely, where you can be waylaid and abducted and taken to somewhere and raped or even gang raped. Don't, if you want to jog, jog in a group, don't jog alone. And if you find yourself in an elevator with a man and you feel uneasy, uncomfortable with the man, what you have to do is press all the buttons in that elevator, all the buttons of all the floors. That because the man, knowing that that the lift can stop and open at every floor, will not. In fact, he will never try anything stupid with you. Then I always tell women too, my friends and some ladies too, if a man tries to be funny with you, maybe try to force you, if it is possible, my sister, use your leg, kick the hell out of that his tom-tom, that his limb dangling tom-tom. If you can, if it's possible to kick out the balls, those two flat tires beside the two tom-toms. You know what I mean by that? By tom-tom, that's their long stick that they use in causing their trouble. When you hit it, make sure you hit hard. By the time the man recovers, you're already out of that place. If you do that, take off. I always tell them too that if you get dry pepper, get a dry pepper, grind it, put it in an empty bottle of perfume, then add the latest spirit in it, shake it, put it always in your bag. If any man tries to do anything with you, my dear, it out and spray the content into his hand and then escape. If you have a date with your date, you have a date meeting, and you go to, please make sure you don't take any already opened drink. And even if you have to take what's it called, packet juice or plastic drink, shake it very well, turn it upside down. If it leaks or drips, don't test it. It has already been spiked with drugs, and you can be raped. Then let me just quickly, because of time, and make sure you dress decently. What I mean by dressing decently, maybe tight jeans, so that it will be difficult for him to do that. And then women should not allow their little daughters to enter neighbors' flats, especially male neighbors. Teach your children, your female children, always to remember to tell you anytime any man touches them intimately that they should run and they should come and they must report to you. And don't trust your child in the care of any man at all, relation or no relation. Then, I don't know if time will permit me to go into just a few effects of rape on women or on the rape victims. Like, for example, I know that victims of rape suffer extreme emotional trauma. Some of them sometimes depression will come in. They think a lot about suicide. They think of vengeance. They look at them as unworthy, and they see themselves as lacking in respect, self-esteem, and other things. And they become antisocial. They become paranoid. They become antisocial, yeah, paranoid. And then because of stigma and other things, they tend to keep to themselves. And most of the time, they are thinking of what to do. And what is that thing they're thinking about? It could probably be vengeance, which is taking laws into your hands, which is not permitted by law. And it could also be something like maybe committing suicide and all that. Then what do you do when you are actually raped? When you are raped, do not wash, do not clean up, do not bath. First of all, what you do is pick up a phone, call somebody, a very close friend or a very close family person, excuse me, as your first witness. When that is done, if the rape act was not carried out in your house, maybe somewhere else, what you do is get home, change your dress, but don't bath, don't clean up. Put the dress you wore at the time of the rape act, put it in a bag, your pants, everything, put it in the bag and take to the police station. When you get to police station, make sure you write your statement by yourself. And after you write, and give, even as you're writing, give as much details as can be possible, because it will help your case in the investigation. And after that, make sure you ask for the photocopy of your statement. Then immediately after all that is done, then go and seek immediate medical attention. And after 6 months, go back to test for HIV/AIDS. That is what I propose or advise people to do. And then coming to what let me before rehabilitation, let me talk about rehabilitation of rape victims. Because of time, I'll be very brief too. What you have to do is that, first of all, a rape victim, you try to gain her confidence, her trust. Tell her that she's not alone. She's not in fact, it's not even her fault that she was raped. She's not alone in that. And you can even, that is when the family can come in, show more love, more care, more understanding. You can get the pastor of the church to minister to her. You can even refer her to a psychologist who can counsel her. Then there are some advocacy groups that you can send her to, you can refer her to, or even take her to. Like we have FIDA, we have Mirabel Center in Lagos, Lekki Phase 1 in Lagos. Then we have NAPTIP. And then the Ministry of Women Affairs, Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, they have zonal centers. Rehabilitation center in all the countries. They have one in Enugu, they have in Uyo, they have in Oyo, they have in Osogbo, they have in Maiduguri, Sokoto, Kano, and they also have where else again? Yeah. So whenever there's a rape case like that, what you can do is that you can refer them, the rape victim, to any of these centers close to the person. But more, you can also relocate that person from that place, because changing of environment can also help. But most importantly, the rape victim herself should be able to help us. What do you mean by that? You should be able to deal with the trauma by yourself. Think to yourself, must I die because this happened? Then move on with your life. Then I can now talk about the legislation, the laws in Nigeria governing rape in Nigeria. I can say that the law now is not against rape is not strong enough to help rape victims. I'll give you my reason why I said that. For example, a baby of about 2 years old. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm about to. Go ahead.
A baby of about 2 years old is raped. That baby is expected to pay for the filing in the police station, mobilize the police to pick up to arrest the victim, the abuser. The same baby of 2 years old will mobilize the police to take herself and the abuser to the hospital. She is also expected to pay for the baseline assessment test that will be performed on her and her abuser. When the case eventually gets to court, it is the same baby too who is expected to pay for all the filings and all that in the court. And apart from that, too, my dear, there are 4 types of laws in Nigeria governing rape. One is criminal code, which is predominantly applicable in all the southern states in Nigeria. Then the penal code, which is applicable in the northern states of Nigeria. Then there's Lagos State criminal law, which is just practiced in Lagos State. Then there is this one, Violence Against Person Prohibition Act. Then under the criminal code, Nigerian criminal code, section 357 and 358 stipulates, defines rape as any unlawful, how would I put it? Any unlawful knowledge, carnal knowledge of any person at all, whether by consent or not by, because sometimes you get the consent of the person under duress. What do I mean by that? Either by coercive, by physical or by non-physical coercion. Do you understand? Then that's once you do that, you have committed a rape offense, and you are liable to.
Ms. Okeke, could you start rounding up, please?
Okay, I'm rounding up. You are, of course, you are liable to a life jail. And the Lagos State criminal law, the same thing. You rape a child, you rape a woman, you rape anybody, you are liable to life jail too. Then this Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, Section 1 says that any penetration into the vagina, the anus, the mouth, or any part of her body, using anything at all, your penis, your any object at all, to penetrate the person against her consent, or even getting the consent under duress, that you're also liable to life jail. And please, please don't be angry. Let me just add something. I want to recommend that, please, I want to recommend that we push a bill to the National Assembly, to especially to the Senate, to amend the existing law, especially with regards to rape victims, with regards to their treatments and going to court and other things. Let everything be free. Because why I'm saying that is that you find out that at the end of the day, some families who are financially disadvantaged will not be able to prosecute the case or to pursue the case further. What they do is, because there is no money to pursue the case, they drop the case and they will never get they will never get justice. And what happens next? The person might think of taking her own life or taking laws into her hands, and then the rape perpetrator will go, because that one is free, roaming about the streets and then looking for who to rape again. Okay, let me stop here for now because of time. Thank you.